Here at oldcityghosts.com is a story posted by a blogger entitled Okiku, the Japanese haunted doll that puts Chucky to shame. And the blogger begins. The haunted doll phenomenon isn't just a craze reserved for the superstitious Yanks and Chucky lovers. It's not just an American genre. Yes, as a whole, we might have the most famous examples out there, but that just speaks volumes of our branding and marketing skills, not our ability to cross swords with the devil and come out on top. Robert and Annabelle and Chucky, the holy trinity of the possessed, are ours. Although Chucky's 100% fictional, as far as I know. I guess Robert and Annabelle are real. Chucky's fictional. Those icons were bred and branded in the good old US of A, but those icons and poster children of the cursed sensation are goofy looking compared to some of the fanfare and examples out there in the world. If you want absolute terror, if you want cringeworthy horror, yes, I want. If you want the sort of fright that might make the likes of Thor ask for his mother, then your best bet is to hop on a plane and travel to the exotic Orient. To be exact, Japan. The nation of the rising sun basically goes, hold my beer, whenever we cocky Americans think we have the market cornered in anything relating to the supernatural. Look, we have Jason Voorhees. Again, fictional, I'm pretty sure. Big deal, that's just a TV and an old VHS. Press play? Sure, why not? That was a scary series, but again, fictional, I believe. The, what was that called? Where the girl comes out of the well? We might have Chucky, we might have Robert, but Japan has more creepy crawlers of their nature and kind than in a Hollywood pitch meeting post-Annabelle box office triumph. Japan has Okiku, the haunted doll, and she's just the tip of a very dark iceberg. In 1918, a young man purchased a doll that would later on claim the name of Okiku as her own for his 2-year-old sister, and the legend would kickstart a tourism flash. Japan during this era was still stuck in the ways of feudalism, while the world around her was embracing the progress of technology and science. Japan was holding tight to her beliefs and her rich mythology and fables. This was a land, and still is by all accounts, where demons, ghosts and vampires, and other such creatures roam free. A land where goblins and evil spirits are constantly harassing normal folk. On February 3rd, you drove evil spirits away by going to shrines and through rituals and folklore practices. Setsubun events. Lake monsters gobbled kids up. Woods like Aokigahara, northwest of Mount Fuji, drove people insane and compelled them to self-harm. Foxes were sacred and devoted animals. Japanese culture was and still is fraught with legends and supernatural boogeymen. And dolls, some of them, were powerful instruments of magic. You didn't mess with dolls. This doll was bought in Sapporo by 17-year-old Aikishi Suzuki in 1918 for his 2-year-old sister, Okiku. He was touring the region for a maritime exhibition, and the doll instantly drew his attention. The perfect little thing sat in a shop window, enticing him. Suzuki didn't think twice. He went in and instantly purchased the figurine for his sister, and used the last of his money to get it. At about 40 centimeters tall, that's, 16 inches maybe? And dressed in a traditional kimono. The doll was exquisite. Its hair raven black, and cut roughly to shoulder length in a traditional Okapa hairstyle. Her eyes were piercing coals that seemed to swallow everything up in their gaze. The thing was mesmerizing and enchanting, something to take your breath away. Suzuki went back home and gave the doll to his little sister. The tyke fell in love with the doll immediately. It transformed into Okiku's favorite toy, and more importantly, her best friend. Okiku played every day with the doll, took it everywhere, and treated the figurine like a little sister. She would talk and prattle with the thing, feed it, sleep with it. She decided to call the doll Okiku, a mirror duplicate of herself, and it never left her sight. Then 1 year later, tragedy struck. In 1919, Okiku died. Yellow fever had descended on the land and the family of the little girl. Okiku died gasping for air, in pain and afraid. The doll held firmly in her grasp. She was only 3. The family wanted to bury the doll along with Okiku, but circumstance and governmental oversight prevented this last act of kindness. The doll was never laid to rest with her. Okiku the doll was alternately located in the family's altar, a common practice in certain Japanese households to commemorate the dead. The small shrine celebrated their daughter and marked her passing into the afterlife. That's when the weirdness started to occur. One day, the family started to notice that the doll's hair was getting longer. Once a traditional shoulder-length cut, now a mangled mess of split ends reaching down past her waist. It was scruffy, it was different colors, and it felt different. At night they started to dream of Okiku, and sometimes the doll would appear by their side come morning. The chilling events intensified and grew into full-blown acts of spiritual infestation, lights flicking off and on, bangings in the house, noises, and strange voices. The closer the year got to certain key dates, Okiku's birthday and the day of her death. Over time they were certain, and town shamans concurred that their daughter's soul was in fact trapped within the doll. In 1938, the family relocated to a different district. They had now become accustomed to Okiku the doll, and had even grown fond of their daughter's restless spirit. To them, it was magical, and a unique opportunity to interact with the dead. Not desiring to take Okiku with them, fearing what fueled her magic was proximity to their daughter's grave, the family approached the local temple and asked them to take care of the doll. The temple by now had heard countless stories of the amazing doll, the haunted doll whose hair grew every year. They were fascinated, skipping like schoolgirls with the prospect. The priests gleefully accepted the charge and started taking care of Okiku. Over time, they have managed to confirm the veracity of some of the claims, particularly that the hair does indeed grow. The priests sent out cut samples of the hair for scientific analysis. Scientific examination of Okiku proved that the hair was that of a human child. The hair gets a trim regularly, and the doll stays happy and content. As the years passed on, the doll's fame grew and her powers further developed. She's bolder now, invading the dreams of the priest and those that come visit her. She's stronger, her hair grows faster and wilder, and she's even spookier. The event driving tourists mad is the frightening claim that the mouth of Okiku is slowly opening, and that if you dare to peer inside, You may be able to glimpse something like baby teeth sprouting like weeds from porcelain gums. Okiku is still located in her private shrine, on display in a little wooden box in the Manenji Temple, in the town of Iwamizawa, Hokkaido, Japan. She's there waiting for all who want to play with fire and have a one-on-one conversation with the paranormal and the bizarre.